Ladies and gentlemen, this is, as you know, the 47th Annual Noche de las Americas Gala, and it's so good to have you here. And a bit of background, for those of you a bit unfamiliar with this organization, it commemorates the 514th anniversary of the discovery of America by, of course, Christopher Columbus. And we all know when that happened in 1492, sailing the ocean blue. So what a grand event this is tonight, to be able to recognize and remember that terrific time so many years and centuries ago. The Institute is a non-profit organization, and its primary goal is simply to better understand the community, help the community in any way, and as well, because it is a non-profit organization, help with scholarship funds to those students who are deserving, who are talented, who are worthy of receiving such, and some very deserving of it as well, and disadvantaged. But you know what? It's a terrific organization to help launch these kids into greater areas. So we congratulate the students, as well as we congratulate you and your much support. The spectacular entrance of the Royal Court. And this is also His Highness Enjoy Elizabeth de Castilla, represented by Mrs. Elizabeth Sachs. His Highness King Fernando de Aragon, represented by Dr. Stephen Sachs. Christopher Columbus, represented by Mr. Amon Benjamini. Cardinal Francisco Jimenez de Cisneros, represented by the Most Reverend Bishop Stephen Payne. Now the President of the Institute of Hispanic Culture of Houston and Chairman of the Board, Mr. George Diaz Garcia, carrying the flag, accompanied by his lovely wife, It's my honor as well to introduce the distinguished honorary chair of this gala, Mrs. Luisa Trujillo, who has been chairman of the gala many times in the past, and past president and chairman of the board of directors, board member, and an extremely active person, member of the scholarship committee as well throughout the years. Ladies and gentlemen, now entering the ballroom, the distinguished chair of the gala, Ms. Yasmin Suarez. And now my pleasure to introduce the President of the Institute of Hispanic Culture of Houston, Mr. George Diaz Garcia, carrying the flag of the Institute at the solemn.
Thank you, Art. Welcome, bienvenidos, buenas noches. Welcome to the 47th Annual Noche de las Americas Gala. As with all of these things, it's a beautiful room, it's going to be a great night. These things don't happen by themselves, and it is my role to recognize some of the people who make this all possible. Let me start out by just recognizing our great and very generous sponsors, of which there are many. Beginning with HEB, that donated the beautiful centerpieces that we have on each table. Our other sponsors are Dr. Stephen Sachs and Mrs. Elizabeth Sachs, our King and Queen. The Honorable Helena Brown, Houston Council member. Dr. Dorothy Karam, Dr. Vasquez Calderon, Schermeister Diaz Arastilla Bren, my law firm. The David Huckin Financial Group, Goya Foods of Texas, Houston Chefs Internists, and in particular Dr. Victor Salcedo, who's the owner of that group, Houston Community College Central, Honorable Diane Gariglia, Joseph McReynolds, New Era Life Insurance Company, Silver Fuels LLC, and Mrs. Leah Tusanote. Donors to this gala include Houston Medical Imaging, Robert Jones, Dr. Jesse B. Kirkpatrick, Patient Physicians Cooperative, Ricardo and Maria Teresa Perusquia, Dr. Humberto Rangel, Roger Printing Company, Eduardo and Isabel Suchon, Jasmine Suarez, our chair, and Luisa Trujillo, our honorary chair. I also want to recognize the many people who worked very, very hard to organize this and put all of this together. Our Gala Committee, including, let me see, Jasmine Suarez, our chair, Luisa Trujillo, our honorary chair, my lovely wife, Maria Gomez Diaz Abastia, Dr. Dorothy Karam, Leticia Gutierrez Ablaza, Dr. Marcos Calderon, Mr. Joseph McReynolds, and Mrs. Josefina Ramirez. All of these people have worked very, very hard to have this, to bring this event together. I want to give a very, very special recognition, however, to a few members of the committee that have really gone above and beyond. I want to give a special thanks and recognition to Mrs. Luisa Trujillo that made it possible for us to have this beautiful hall to celebrate our evening. I would like to just give a round of applause to Mrs. Trujillo. Similarly, Dr. Marcos Calderon may really single-handedly put together the musical program we will shortly enjoy. Again, a brief round of applause for Dr. Calderon. And finally, for our Institute Treasurer, Professor Gloria Jampe-Yorg, a member of the committee, who always, as our treasurer, she was always keeping an eye on the bottom line, making sure the funds were properly allocated and properly and wisely spent, and doing all the odds and ends that are necessary to bring this all together. So again, a round of applause to Gloria.